Hi guys, welcome back to the scene. My name's Ashley, and today we're doing a top 10 list of things you can do in Guild Wars 2. This list is only talking about the base game. Therefore, we will not be discussing any of the content from the expansion Heart of Thorns. If you would like a top 10 list for things to do in Heart of Thorns, then all you have to do is like this video and comment below to let me know. Since this video is just talking about the base game, all of this content is free to do, but there may be some restrictions added to the event. I will let you know what those restrictions are as we go along in this list. I hope you guys are ready because we're about to start swimming into this list. At number 10, I have the guild stuff and things that you can do. There's not really a neat packaged way to explain this. For example, you can go and create a guild hall, which is kind of like a commonplace meeting area for your guild. You can go on some guild missions, which is kind of just like world events for your guild that other people can take place in, but it also gives you merit to go towards your guild. To be 100% honest, I actually haven't gotten super into the guild missions or even created a guild hall yet within my guild. So I don't really have much to say about this, but I do know it is a big part of Guild Wars. I mean, the game called Guild Wars, it kind of has to be a big part of it. There is one restriction that I did find for free-to-play characters. You are not able to access the Guild Vault, which is kind of like where guild members can deposit gold to help out other guild members in case they need to buy an armor, or you can even deposit items as well. You are still able to go on guild missions as well as represent your guild throughout the game, so you still are part of the guild, you just don't get all of the benefits. At number 9, I have Fractals of the Mist. If there's ever a time where you want to go run a dungeon, but you're about to go to work in about half an hour, but you still want to grind something, level up your character a little bit, Fractals are for you. Fractals of the Mist are kind of mini dungeons that you can do in a smaller amount of time than it would take for you to do a full dungeon, and you get leveled up to level 80 instead of retaining your lower level character if you are still in the process of leveling. Fractals go based off of difficulty level as opposed to like your character's level overall. So if you want to level something other than just like the generic MMO leveling your character up to max rank to get to endgame, you can go play Fractals. You can play with level 80s when you're only like a level 35, and it doesn't even matter. I didn't even start participating in the Fractals until I hit max level at level 80, so I was probably playing with some lower level people anyways. Number 8 on this list is going to World vs. World. Let's get the limitation out of the way. I found out that a free account can only start World vs. World at level 60, but you are still able to access all of World vs. World as soon as your character levels up to level 60. Now that the limitation is out of the way, we can now discuss what World vs. World is. On Guild Wars, you choose a server to play on. You can always go from server to server, but you still represent that server when it comes to World vs. World. To me, I would describe World vs. World as a loosely defined PvP. The reason I say this is because you can go and fight other players from other servers to gain points for your server, but there are other ways to which you can earn points for your server. This can be by taking people's towers and keeps or destroying their NPCs, or you can go and battle over resources by attacking their Doliacs and stealing their supplies. World vs. World is another instance to where the game will level you up to level 80. The downside to World vs. World is it does give you world experience, but it doesn't level your character up outside of World vs. World. At number 7, we have Personal Story. The Personal Story is the unique campaign of each character, which along with dynamic events and map completion, makes up much of the PvE gameplay. There's no PvP going on inside of the Personal Story, basically. The Personal Story is independent from random world events and is always available to follow through the game world and the events which occur there. Personal story is told through character-specific instances and is personalized by decisions made before and during gameplay. To me, the personal story kind of reminds me of a campaign mode in any other kind of game. Even though the personal story is based around your character's story and all of the decisions you have made, you can still bring a friend into your own personal story instance to help you out through any of the missions that you might be having problems with. If you're looking for something to do on the game when none of your friends are online, personal story is a good choice for that. At number 6, we have what is called dynamic events. Dynamic events are random events that happen throughout the world, which are a different form of questing than a regular MMO would have. Dynamic events will normally pop up on your map and be like, hey, this event is going on, such as this person needs escorted to this place. Whether or not you decide to escort this person to that place, that event will still take place. Sometimes, especially in the Ruins of Ore, there are these dynamic events that are considered chain events. And during these chain events, you will participate in one event that will unlock another event, that will unlock another event, and sometimes will end in a world boss event. Participating in world boss events will give your character level experience. Therefore, you will be able to level by following these world events, as well as getting rewarded with chests that drop on the ground, which will contain either a rare item or an exotic item. Some players will join up in these world events as they happen casually, whereas others will actually look up the world event timers and go and follow the chain of events that are going on. Halfway through the list at number 5, we have seasonal events. Seasonal events are a big thing for Guild Wars 2. They are what keep the burned out players coming back to the game to see what brand new content is being added. Seasonal events will sometimes center around what holiday is going on right then, such as a holiday event or like just the general holidays around December that may be happening. This is a good time to participate to get any kind of cosmetic kind of things that you may want, such as a holiday themed outfit for your character. As well as added cosmetics, seasonal events will also bring about a whole new slew of minigames. When the Zephyrite event was taking place, this brought about the race minigames, where your character will literally use lightning, wind, whatever to race against other characters. The races were such a big deal that they were actually added on to the base game, so that way you can always do them now as a minigame. I feel like seasonal events are kind of a way for Guild Wars 2 to test out new ideas, and if they flop, they flop. I mean, the event is done in about a month, but if they succeed, then they can take that and add it into the base game. Just make sure you're always looking around for those hidden treasures during seasonal events to get those extra achievements. Number 4 is going to PvP. Now, when I say PvP, this is actually like the battlegrounds maybe on World of Warcraft, where you want to control some points, and it actually is a more structured PvP than World vs. World is. Your main goal is to fight other players. By fighting other players, you get points, and then, since they're all dead, you're able to go and take their positions, and that also gains points for your team. As a free account, you cannot participate in PvP until level 3, but let's be honest, getting to level 3 is pretty freaking quick. By participating in PvP, you level up specific tracks that will sometimes either get you a new outfit for PvP, or you can get finishers, which are kind of like a flare that show up whenever you finish off an opponent. PvP is another fun thing to jump into when you only have about 10-15 minutes to play a game, and you just kind of want to go and get all your frustrations out on the battlefield. At number 3, we have world completion. Now, this is going to be the most obvious thing, especially if you've played MMOs before. In regards to world completion in Guild Wars 2, you kind of just want to go around questing, and by completing quests, which are considered renowned hearts in this game, on top of questing, you want to make sure that you're exploring the area that you are in. This means activating any kind of waypoint you may come across, which is another way to describe map transport in this game. But it also means keeping your eyes peeled for any kind of points of interest or any vistas that might be lying around. Vistas in this game are kind of like scenic vantage points where once you activate it, it takes your camera into like a cinematic mode and it shows you the area around you in real time. So you see other characters running around while you're looking at the area. The last part of world completion is by completing the hero challenges. Hero challenges will typically consist of an NPC kind of challenging your strength. Not all hero challenges are fights though. Sometimes it's just dialogue that may take place for you to learn a little bit more of the story of the area, or you just go and interact with the point and it will give you the power. Completing hero challenges then reward you with a hero point, which is used to train your character in like all the specializations that they may have. Also, once you complete map completion, you get a whole achievement for it. Even building up to completing map completion gives you achievements, so why not do it for the achievement points? At number 2, we have jumping puzzles. Honestly, all of Guild Wars 2 is a jumping puzzle. Sometimes you have to do a jumping puzzle to go and find a jumping puzzle. It's insane. Some people may not like this. I didn't like jumping puzzles when I very first started, but once I saw that there was achievements for it, of course I fell in love with it. At the end of jumping puzzles, you get rewarded with a chest. Not to mention the achievements, but for real, jumping puzzles are kind of a way to help you learn how to be agile and quick with your character. Some jumping puzzles are even timed, so that makes it even harder, but also more fun. Most new seasonal events will come out with a new jumping puzzle, as well as there being jumping puzzles within the World vs. World map. Like, they're everywhere, guys. You can even find one that seems like it was going to be made within the Ascalonian catacombs, but they didn't really make it a jumping puzzle, so yeah. Jumping puzzles are available at any level because there's no instance or anything to go into. It just depends on if you have that area discovered to go to the jumping puzzle. Also be wary because sometimes you have to fight the enemies that are in the area while still completing the jumping puzzle. So if you're too low of a level, make sure you take extra precaution when doing the jumping puzzle. Lastly, we have number 1, which is going to dungeons. Dungeons are optional party-based PvE instances, each with their own story. Out of the 9 regular dungeons, there are 2 different modes within each dungeon. Story mode, which follows the story of the Destiny's Edge group. And then there's also explorable mode, which is a more difficult mode, and it usually has about 3 different paths. I believe there's one that has 4. I don't completely remember, but it is more difficult, and it usually requires more coordination from your party since there's no one really leading your party through the dungeon since it's not story-based, so you kind of have to depend on someone knowing the dungeon and leading you through. Even though the other paths aren't labeled story mode, it still contains a story behind it. Usually the story deals with cleaning up whatever mess might have happened from the story mode. Every dungeon has its own achievement, and then once you complete all of the achievements for all the dungeons, you unlock a new achievement called Hobby Dungeon Runner, which I have unlocked a bunch of times because I got really addicted to running dungeons, hence this being number 1 on my list. I just feel dungeons are a great alternative way to gain experience while leveling without having to do so much grinding. Plus, you might even get the added bonus of making friends. Thanks for tuning in for this top 10. I am really passionate about Guild Wars 2. I got super sucked into it. I want to get back into it. That's why I'm doing this top 10. Hopefully you guys will play with me because I don't have friends in real life to play with. So you guys should join up, sign in, play the game. Let me know how you like it down in the comments below. Like this video if you do want to know more about the expansion because I have played a little bit of it. They did stop doing some of the living story around the time that they put out the expansion, so I didn't really play it as much. But if you guys get into this and want to play with me, let me know. I will let you know and we will play together and it'll be great. Thanks for tuning in. I'm ISceneAshley. I will put out a new top 10 every Tuesday as well as Let's Plays throughout the week. And yeah, click the little bell and it'll let you know whenever I upload a video. If you want to do that, that'd be fun. But yeah, I will see you guys next time.